Welcome back, everybody. You are listening to Podcast Handstand, the gymnastics podcast that, well, in the past has been solely dedicated to the recreational gymnastics world. However, not today. This podcast is going to bypass gymnastic communities into anybody who has ever dealt with a rip on their hand. That could be somebody who works out a lot, a CrossFitter, for example. Maybe you work in a trade where your job requires you to hold on to objects for a long amount of time. We've dealt with them. They're not comfortable. They hurt. First couple of times you get a really deep rip. So we're going to find out why we get rips, like what causes it, ways that we can prevent getting a rip, and then if we do get a rip, how we can help it to heal quickly. Before we do that, I want to announce that I have a new website. It is jrthegymnasticscoach.com. I would love for all of you to go to the page and look it over. The bottom of the homepage, you can subscribe. It's totally free. And if you subscribe to JR the Gymnastics Coach, then you're going to get exclusive content, free videos, lots of information that hopefully will help you in your gymnastics/fitness CrossFit journey. For example, my podcast is always free, and you can stream it on any of your favorite streaming services like Apple or Spotify. However, if you are a subscriber, you're going to get a link to the video version, and you'll be able to see some of the products that I am suggesting for hand maintenance. So go ahead and subscribe. I would love for you to join the JR the Gymnastics Coach family. Let's get this party started. Rips are very uncomfortable. And if you have a child who's in gymnastics and you have experienced their first rip, it is drama. It is really uncomfortable for those kids. But as adults, it's also really uncomfortable if you've never had the privilege of having a deep rip. So what is a rip? A rip is when your hand creates friction on an object, and as a result, you start to get like this extra skin that builds up into a callus, and eventually that extra skin has to come off your hand, and it can come off against your will, or you can take it off yourself. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Gymnasts are really prone to getting rips because we hold on to bars a lot, and all of the skills that we're doing circle the bar. So our hand is moving over an object that's not moving, which is where the friction comes from. CrossFitters also susceptible to getting rips because we're doing a lot of work on the bar, like a toes to bar or pull-ups or muscle ups. So one of the things that we can do to help prevent rips is by just being aware of what our hands look like. So I'm going to hold my hand up to the screen, and you can see that I got some calluses on my hand. I've got over 30 years of experience of just holding on to a bar, and as a result, my hands are kind of filled with these nice calluses. They look a lot harder than they actually are because I've done a lot of maintenance on my hands to try to keep them soft. So it can be done. You can have, pretty soft hands, but still have calluses. And we're going to talk about ways that we can, help you make that happen. One of the things that I'd always do as a gymnast is I'd look down at my hands before I go to gym and see if I have any potential upcoming calluses that could rip off. And what I like to do is I would take a razor, and I'm going to show you. It's just a regular razor that I would shave my face with. Like you shave your face, shave your legs, like your body parts. You can use one of those to just gently go over that extra skin on your hand, remove it, and then if it's removed, it's not going to be removed by the bar. Now, you don't have to grind that razor into your hand, just like you'd shave your face or your legs, nice and gentle. Just know that like those little pieces of skin that come off are super thin, and so they're going to get stuck in between that razor. So you're going to want to clean your razor after every use. And then I just kind of put it in a Ziploc bag and just kind of keep it. Sometimes we forget and we don't do that maintenance on our hand before we go to the gym. So maybe even keeping that razor in your gym bag is a good idea. If you have a young child, then, you should be doing it yourself. I wouldn't have them do it. But it's a really great way to kind of, prevent any really deep rips, at least from happening. Other things that I've seen people use to kind of like get rid of that extra skin, I've heard of people using a pumice stone, though I can't imagine that feels really great. I've seen people use nail filers, and now there's like these little callus removal kits that you can get on Amazon that's been created by CrossFitters. And one of them that I saw yesterday was about the size of a lipstick container. And at the very top of that little container, it had these little look like a cheese grater almost, and the demonstrator just put it on top of the callus and just kind of like grinded it over, and it removed that extra skin. So whatever you can do to remove that skin will go a long way in preventing a really deep rip, and those are the ones that really hurt. Now if you do get a rip, we want to make sure that we are dealing with it without making it worse. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is remove the extra skin that has ripped off your hand. And usually what happens is when you get the rip, like the bottom, 3/4 of the rip, it'll come off of your hand, but there's one piece of skin that's still attached to your hand. Do not pull or try to rip that off because you're going to end up making that surface area larger. What you're going to want to do is get a pair of nail clippers, just like regular nail clippers, and then you're going to want to go into where that callus is hanging off and just kind of clip off that extra skin from your hand. If you have a child who is in gymnastics and they're experiencing their first rip and you go to do this, they're going to freak out. And especially if you accidentally hit that exposed area, that deep area of skin that's pink and super sensitive, it really hurts. And, when your child is 5, 6 years old, that is the kind of pain that they have not experienced before. So get ready for a lot of finagling that's going to have to go on. You're going to have to be really careful if they're not willing to let you touch it, or you're accidentally bumping the clippers to that skin. Just like wait a little while before you go about doing it, because after an hour or so, the sensitivity will die down, but we're going to want to remove that skin and you're going to want to wash it. And I suggest you just washing it gently with water at first until the sensitivity goes away. Again, if you're dealing with a child, the water on that area is going to be extremely, extremely painful. It burns, and just kind of be ready for it. Maybe like take a wet rag and just kind of gently wash around it and let them know that the pain is going to subside. It really will, but the first time it hurts. And if you're an adult and you're dealing with this again, like, you have a better understanding of what pain feels like. So, your adjustment to that is going to be a little quicker than what a child will experience, but we're going to want to wash it. And then you're going to be done with the bars for that day. Now at night, you're going to want to go through a little routine to help heal it a little bit faster. You're going to want to get it some kind of medicated ointment or topical to put on top of it. So I have some antibacteria ointment right here that I'm showing. You could use something similar to this, maybe some Burt's Bees medicated, like they kind of make like this little like tacky, looks like pomade, but it has medication in it. You could put that around it. Something that doesn't have alcohol in it, basically, that you're putting on top of that. And then what I always encourage people to do is then sleep with a clean sock on your hand, just like this. So if you can't see, I'm just holding up my hand. I have like a little sock that I put over my hand. And what that does is that kind of keeps the medicated ointment on my hand. And over the night, if that hand is exposed, then the ointment's going to come off onto your pillows or maybe on your body if you put your hands behind your head or between your knees when you sleep. So the sock over the hand is just a kind of way to kind of keep that medication on there a little bit better and prevent it from getting on your sheets. When you wake up the next morning, that sensitivity is most likely completely gone. So you're going to be able to now wash it really thoroughly with some more soap, and then you're going to want to put some kind of layer over that area. I have some medicated spray that I would spray on it. So this is made from Band-Aid. And I've seen people put like that liquid Band-Aid over that area, clear nail polish. I've even used Elmer's glue, like literally just putting glue on that and then kind of like making a nice little screen over that area. So it kind of prevents any dirt and particles from getting on that area throughout my day. And then at night, I'm going to go through the process of cleaning it again and putting some kind of like medicated ointment on it and then sleeping with a sock. And if you do that over 2 nights, like that second full day after 48 hours, that rip should be pretty much healed. Now, if it's your first rip or if it's really, really deep, sometime it can take a little bit longer. So after the sensitivity has gone away and it's no longer um, burns when you touch it, one of the really great things that you can do is jump in a swimming pool. So if you have the luxury of a pool or you have access to like a hot tub, getting in that, the chlorine just like dries it out and it will make it heal a lot faster. I want to clear up a fallacy that a lot of people have that if buy a pair of grips, it's going to prevent a rip. That is completely untrue. If you are a parent whose child is in gymnastics, you're not going to want to go out and buy a pair of grips. In fact, those gymnastics grips are so thick, the leather that the grip is made out of can actually create deeper rips because it's just another thicker object that is creating friction over the object that you're holding onto, the bar. We also want to make sure that parents, gymnasts understand that you just have to have time on your hands. We build grip strength by just using our bare hands to hold on to an object. Usually, a gymnastics coach will have their child start thinking about getting a pair of grips when they're about to work giants or their swings on bars are so high that they now need something that's going to allow them to grip on the bar a little better. And so a grip does exactly that. It helps you hold on to a object with a better grip so you can do more advanced movements. Same thing, if you're in CrossFit, I suggest being in CrossFit 6 to 8 months, really building some base strength with your bare hands before you go right on out and buy a grip, because you're kind of just bypassing the strength building process. Okay, I hope that this kind of helped you all to understand why we get rips, ways that we can kind of look at our hands to see when a potential rip is about to happen, how we can help to heal those rips, and then just the fallacy that a grip is not going to prevent a rip. It can actually make it worse. A grip does exactly that. It helps you hold on to the bar. Please go to my website, JR the Gymnastics Coach, and check it out. Subscribe if you are inclined. Make sure that you rate my podcast. You leave comments. If there's a subject that you would like me to speak about, I'm happy to speak about anything that deals with gymnastics or doing gymnastics movements that we see maybe in CrossFit. I hope you all have a great weekend, and I will see everybody here next week, same time, Wednesday, for another episode of Podcast Handstand.